YouTube, what's up? Riz here, back with another 2-round NFL mock draft post-combine. And this is more along the lines of what I think will happen rather than what I think should happen. Eventually, we'll do one of those. That one's going to look a little different than anything you see. But anyways, if you want more of this, you want more NFL coverage, free agency coverage, please subscribe. You will not regret it. Always videos coming out about the NFL and more. Let's get into this. Cleveland Browns, first overall pick, no shocker here. Myles Garrett, edge rusher from Texas A&M. Don't need to really go into that. My second pick, I have the Niners taking Deshaun Watson, quarterback from Clemson. Could be a little surprising, but I think by the time we get to the draft, I think they're going to realize that Watson is the best quarterback. I know a lot of people aren't seeing that right now, but I think the Niners are going to realize it, and they have time to work with them. They're in rebuild mode. And I think he's probably the most pro-ready one, too. And I think he's clearly the best one. And I think they will realize it. And they can also realize that they will get solid players in the rest of this draft because it is a good draft. So you get Deshaun Watson, and then you build your other needs in the rest of the draft. I think they'll do it when we get there. We'll see, though. Could go with another quarterback like Mitchell Trubisky. Could go completely different position. But I think Watson will end up being their guy. He really should be their guy. And the Bears, I have the Bears taking Jamal Adams, safety from LSU, who's number 2 on my big board. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl safety, got the total package. Don't see that every draft. Bears have a big need at defensive back. I was switching back and forth. I had Mitchell Trubisky here, but it sounds like the Bears are going to get Mike Glennon to be their starting quarterback, which I don't agree with, but that's a different topic. So I don't have them taking quarterback. I went with the safety, which is also a big need and best available player. Fourth pick, I have the Jags taking Marshawn Lattimore, corner out of Ohio State. Big riser, kind of known as number 1 corner in the draft, even though I have him number 2. I think he's good. The Jags released Devon House. They have a couple corner free agents, and they always can use an upgrade. And Lattimore is on the rise, and this is kind of his area where he might go after a great combine and already being one of the top corners. And the Titans, I have the Titans are a team that I can see trading back. I'm not doing any trades in this mock draft. I have the Titans kind of just taking best available, kind of a need. Malik Hooker, Ohio State safety. They need corners and receivers more than safety. They have 2 solid safeties, but I think Byard can move up to nickel if they need him to. And why wouldn't you want to get better? Hooker's going to be a Pro Bowl safety. He's a ball hawk. He gets interceptions, makes plays. So I don't know why you would want to pass on something like that. And they're in the market for a defensive back anyways. Next pick, I got the Jets taking Leonard Fournette, running back out of LSU. They could use a running back upgrade. They could afford to stick with their current running backs, but this is a much better upgrade. And the Jets are known for taking best available player. And this is the best available player. I think clearly, not even just my opinion, it should be anybody. With the guys above him off the board, he should be the best available player. He's my number 3 on my big board, so I can see the Jets going for Fournette. Next pick, I have the Chargers taking Corey Davis, wide receiver, Western Michigan. This is another one. I had safety all along here, but both top safeties gone. They also need a receiver. I had Mike Williams here. I had John Ross here. I'm just switching them all around. John Ross moved after that 40, moved to the top, but then people concerned about that injury. He's probably going to need surgery. People are concerned about that, so that drops him. And then I had Mike Williams. With Mike Williams, the Chargers have a weakness at offensive line. And with a guy like Mike Williams, you need a better offensive line for him to work in your system because he needs a little time to get open. He's an excellent receiver, great hands, goes up, catches the ball. But if they get an offensive line in free agency, this could switch to Mike Williams because that gives Phillip Rivers time to throw the ball to Mike Williams downfield. But as of now, I'm going Corey Davis, a little better at getting open than Mike Williams. But from what I've heard, there's mixed grades on Corey Davis. Some teams have him late first, possibly early second, which early second's mind-blowing. But so expect anything with Corey Davis, but for now I have him for the Chargers. And then the 8th pick, I have the Panthers taking Dalvin Cook, running back, Florida State. They would love Fournette. Fits the system, best running back in the class. They would love him. Could trade up to get him. They would need to trade up ahead of the Jets, maybe even ahead of the Jags. That's a possibility. But Dalvin Cook, next best running back, and also just a great athlete, helps your team in the receiving game. So that is also an option, and I have Cook for the Panthers as of now. On to the next 8. Bengals taking Jonathan Allen, D lineman from Alabama. He's on the decline right now because people are concerned about his shoulders. He had shoulder surgery a while back, and teams are still concerned about it. So I don't know if something came up during the combine that showed red flags for that. But it sounds like he's going to drop a little bit. I don't see the Bengals passing on him. I think he's too good to pass here. Solomon Thomas is also an option. But on to the Bills. Mitchell Trubisky, I should say, quarterback from North Carolina. I think they'll be happy to take him here. I think Watson ends up going before Trubisky just mainly because that only 1-year experience for Trubisky. Why was he a backup for so long? That raises some questions, but some teams have him as the number 1 quarterback, so we'll see. But for now, Bills take him. Saints, I have the Saints taking Reuben Foster, linebacker from Alabama. He's another guy that could be sliding a little bit, but for the Saints that need defense big time, I think he's too good to pass. Too good of a player, best player on the board, so the Saints take him. The Browns, I have the Browns going with Deshaun Kaiser, quarterback from Notre Dame. I'm not as high on Kaiser as everyone else, but he has a ton of potential. He needs to go to a team that could afford to wait on him reaching his potential. Really, I only see the Browns and the Niners are the only 2 teams that I see full rebuild. I think the Browns are in better shape than the Niners, actually. But if he's sitting there, I can see the Browns going him. I also can see them going Mahomes there. Either one. They do need a defensive back upgrade, too, so that could be an option. Next pick, Cardinals. I have them taking Sidney Jones, corner from Washington. Cardinals could use a corner. They can use a couple other things, maybe more, but I think the Cardinals know their defensive guys, and they'll know that Sidney Jones is too good to pass here. He's my number 1 corner. Excellent player. So I see the Cardinals not being able to pass on him. Next up, Eagles need a receiver. Obviously, I think they're going to take Mike Williams if he's sitting here. Get Carson Wentz some weapons. That'll be a great pick. The Colts are next. Solomon Thomas, defensive lineman, Stanford. Too good to pass. Another guy too good to pass. I couldn't believe. I mean, it shows how good this draft class is. I can't believe what guys are still on the board for me as I'm going down. Solomon Thomas, after the combine, I'm like, this guy's a top 10 guy, but I still have him on the board. It just shows how good this draft class is. Colts would not be able to pass on a guy like this. And Ravens, same thing with Derek Barnett, edge rusher from Tennessee. I'm higher on him than most people. I think he's easily a top 10 player, but from what I heard, he may be going in this range. The Ravens have a great run defense. They could use an upgrade on the pass rush. Derek Barnett is a pass rush machine, so that would be an excellent pick. Next up, the Redskins. This may be a little too much. Little too much here. We'll see. Obi Melifonwu. I put defensive back because not only is he a safety, I think he can step up and play nickel. He also can play corner. Some teams believe that. But is it an overreaction after his excellent combine, one of the best combine workouts I've ever seen? But I think somebody reaches for him. I think he's an excellent player. I don't think it's a bad pick at the end of the first round, but I think somebody reaches for him. They want to work with this guy. There's guys that there's coaches that really want to work with this guy and make him great. The Redskins happen to interview with pretty much every safety at the combine. They are looking for a safety hard. Somebody's going to reach for him. I was thinking Raiders at one point, but the Raiders need other positions bad, and the Redskins picked before him. Cowboys are a possibility. Patriots, Seahawks interviewed with him too, and they like his style. They want to use him at nickel if he lasts there. So I think somebody's going to reach for him a little bit. Could be the Redskins in the market for a safety. They want one bad. So let me know your guys' thoughts on that. Could be an overreaction, but I tend not to overreact on combine performances. But so many players closely graded that a great combine performance this year could boost them big time. But I see him going in the first. And up next, Titans. I am taking John Ross, wide receiver, Washington. I actually at one point had him at 5th overall to the Titans, but because of that injury, he's going to slide, and the Titans will be beyond happy to take him here. So that'll be an excellent pick for the fastest guy in the NFL. Buccaneers. I have the Buccaneers taking Christian McCaffrey, running back, Stanford. Doug Martin, don't know the situation on him, and I mean they can use an upgrade anyways. Christian McCaffrey, excellent running back, and he can play receiver, he can play slot. He's a great receiving back, and they could use somebody to help alongside Mike Evans in the receiving game. And there it is right there. Broncos. I have the Broncos taking O.J. Howard, another tough one because I don't know how he's still available for me. I think he could go earlier. I think I said it before. I think he could be a guy that a team trades up for, because none of the teams before this really need tight ends that bad. And more teams kind of draft on need lately, which I don't agree with 100%. But I think the Broncos, if he's there, they for sure take him. I think, like I said, somebody can trade up for O.J. Howard, Pro Bowl tight end in the future. Lions, I have the Lions taking Jerron Conley, cornerback from Ohio State. He's on the rise after an excellent combine, and they don't have a huge need anywhere, but they have a few needs that they can address this year, and I think that Conley will help Slay out opposite of Slay. That would be great. The Dolphins, I have the Dolphins taking Taco Charlton, edge rusher. They need linebackers more, but Charlton's too good to pass, and they need a little more pass rush besides Cameron Wake, and he's getting old anyway, so I think Taco Charlton, I think this is the latest he goes. Giants up next, David Njoku, tight end from Miami. Giants also could go defense here, but their defense was pretty good last year. They need an offensive upgrade, and they need a tight end upgrade. Here's a playmaker tight end. The Raiders, I have the Raiders taking Marlon Humphrey, cornerback, Alabama. I worry about Humphrey. He gets beat more than some of these other corners, but he has a ton of potential. I see the Raiders taking a chance on him. I heard some teams really like him more than people would expect. So I see the Raiders taking a chance on him. Raiders need pretty much defense. They could use a running back in there as well, but mainly defense. And the last 8 of the first round, I have the Texans taking Patrick Mahomes, quarterback, Texas Tech. I would love this pick. I'm high on Patrick Mahomes. I think he can get in there and play right away, and it's definitely a possibility. Possibility he goes earlier, actually, because more and more people are starting to like him. Seahawks have an obvious O-line need. Garrett Bowles, best one in the draft. I think all the other linemen are on decline, whether it's injury or inconsistency. So there's a chance Bowles is the only lineman going in this draft. It's hard to see, but since the other ones aren't that great or have an injury, and since all the other positions are pretty much stacked besides quarterback, that those guys are going to be coming off the board in the first round because they're such great talents. Next, I have the Chiefs taking Alvin Kamara, Tennessee running back, who is one of my favorite players in the draft. I think he's a day one starter. The Chiefs could use him as a Jamal Charles replacement. They do have Spencer Ware, who I like, but you can get better with Kamara. You definitely can get better, and he helps in your receiving game a lot. So why would you be afraid of getting better here? Kamara makes your team. He's an instant impact, basically. Instant impact. I like him a lot. I like him as a great value pick here. I think he's better than this pick. Cowboys. I have the Cowboys taking Quincy Wilson, corner from Florida. Not a great combine, but his tape shows it all. Technique needs a little work, but gets the job done. Man, zone coverage guy, can do both at a high level. So the Cowboys would be happy to have him. And I have the Packers taking Tease Tabor, another Florida corner whose combine wasn't that good, but another guy, tape was too good to let him get out of the first round. I mean, I can see him going early second, but I think better chance he goes in the first because of his tape. Steelers, I have the Steelers taking Hassan Reddick, Temple edge rusher, who helped himself a lot in the combine. Some teams were kind of iffy on him before the combine, we heard. Can he play outside linebacker for them, or is he D-line? Where are we going to play him? We're not sure. So after I made the last mock draft, I was kind of sliding him down to the second round because teams were split on him. But after a great combine, he moves back up. Steelers would get a great player there. The Falcons take Montravius Adams, D-lineman from Auburn, who had a great combine. I think one of the more underrated guys in this draft. They need interior D-linemen. I mean, he can get after the quarterback, too, for mainly a run stuffer, which some of these other D-linemen are purely run stuffers, and I think they will drop. Some experts don't seem to think so, though. We'll get into some of those guys in a little bit. And then another surprising pick, I guess I'd say, 32nd pick, the Patriots take Marcus Williams, safety from Utah. I was high on him before. There was no talk of him in the first round. Then he has a great combine, and I just see a fit. I just see a fit with Marcus Williams on the Patriots. So that'll do it for the first round. We're getting on to the second here. Browns, Jabril Peppers. If you didn't notice, I had Jabril Peppers not in the first round, and I'm going to explain why right now. He, excellent player, excellent athlete, but like I said, I think more and more teams are drafting based off need lately, which I don't 100% agree with. And if you need a safety, are you going to take that Melifonwu or that Marcus Williams, or that Budda Baker, who I like a lot? Or are you going to take Jabril Peppers, who doesn't have the experience at safety and doesn't have the best tape at safeties? The other guys are proven safeties. They're proven safeties, not proven at a good level in the NFL yet. Obviously, they didn't play in the NFL, but they know that those guys can play safety. So if you're drafting off need, they're going to take those guys over Jabril Peppers, I think. But if you're drafting off best available and you don't really have a need, you just want to get an athlete in there that can help you, then that team will take Jabril Peppers. So if one of those teams thinks like that in the first round, then he may go in the first round. But as of now, I have him dropping into the second to the Browns. I don't think the Browns would pass on him here. And then Niners, I have the Niners taking Forrest Lamp, get some protection for Deshaun Watson. Too good of a player to pass. He could sneak in the first because of his versatility to play guard or tackle. I have the Bears taking Zay Jones, wide receiver, East Carolina. The Bears have a big receiver need because I don't think Alshon's coming back. They're getting Mike Glennon in there most likely. He needs a target. He definitely needs a target. Zay Jones, I like a lot. The Bears can get a great receiver here. He's one of the more safer picks in the draft for me. Jags, I have the Jags taking Ryan Ramczyk, who could be the best offensive lineman in the draft, but injury is a concern around the league, so he can drop. But the Jags have an offensive line need, so this would be a great pick. And I have the Rams taking offensive lineman as well. Cam Robinson, who is inconsistent, but overall good offensive lineman, may play guard right away, and the Rams could use him at guard or tackle. I have the Jets taking Zach Cunningham. Again, Jets are known for taking best available. Zach Cunningham can help him right away, and he's probably the best available here. Most likely, but this next guy is my best available. I have him as a first round grade. Budda Baker from Washington. I have the Chargers taking him. This would be a great pick. Like I said, first round grade on Budda Baker. Like him a lot. I think he may drop because of his size, but this would be a great pick. Panthers. I have the Panthers taking Charles Harris, edge rusher from Missouri, and it was hard to have him still on the board here. It just shows how good of a class this is, but Panthers get a good player there. Bengals taking Fabian Moreau, corner from UCLA, who helped himself a lot in the combine. Excellent player. And then another corner off the board right after. The Bills taking Tre'Davious White, another great player from LSU. Could be a nickel right away. That's why he may not go first round, but excellent player. And then the Saints, I have the Saints taking Adoree Jackson. They need upgrade on defense, obviously, so Adoree Jackson could go off the board here. Eagles taking Desmond King, who could play safety or corner for him. And then the Cardinals, they also need a receiver. Juju Smith-Schuster still on the board. I like him a lot. Cardinals can go with Schuster. Colts, I have the Colts taking Curtis Samuel, who helped himself with that fast 4.31 40. Curtis Samuel is a running back / receiver out of Ohio State, and he can help that offense instantly. Ravens, another team that need a receiver. I have them taking Cooper Kupp, excellent route runner. Combine may have hurt him a little bit. I don't think he gets by this point, though. And then the Vikings, obvious O-line upgrade. Desperate for O-line upgrade, I should say. Dan Feeney would be an excellent pick. Chance he's not there, though, but that would be a great pick. We'll start at guard right away. Redskins, I have the Redskins taking Malik McDowell, interior D lineman from Michigan State. A guy that didn't have all that production. That's why I have him dropping. Slight injury concern, but production wasn't always there, so I have him sliding. Some people seem to think he might go in the first round, which is a possibility, but I think teams will realize that the other D linemen have more production, like Montravius Adams, and I think he could slide a little bit. The Browns taking Gerard Davis, kind of the best available player at this point. They could use him at inside. They have two inside linebackers that he can start at either one. There's a chance he goes to the first round. The Raiders is an option. That'll be a little early, but that fills a need, and he fits the Raiders, but I have him dropping to the Browns. I don't think he gets by this point. The Buccaneers could use another weapon as a tight end. Cameron Brate was good, but Evan Engram is better, I think. Excellent 40, and helped himself a lot after that combine. Broncos, another team that needs O-line help. Antonio Garcia, who I like in the mid-second round. Could go third, but I like him here. Lions, I have the Lions taking Caleb Brantley, Florida interior D lineman. Another guy that can go first round. Some experts seem to think he'll go first round. I think he's just a run stuffer, though. I don't know if he's on the field in third and long, and we've seen guys in the last few years that drop. It's surprising to most people that they drop, but really not to me because they can't really be on the field on third down because they're just run stuffers. He may be one of the best run stuffers in this draft, but in the passing league now, I think he drops. The Lions I heard they had a very good interview with him at the Combine, so they'd be happy to have him. Dolphins biggest need is linebackers. They need multiple of them. Ryan Anderson can play inside or outside linebacker. Nick Saban says he may be better as an inside linebacker in the NFL. Giants also need a linebacker. TJ Watt still on the board there. They grab him. Raiders, like I said before, need some linebacker help. Raekwon McMillan can play middle linebacker for them right away. Texans need another tight end. Bucky Hodges will be an excellent tight end for them and helps Mahomes out since I have Mahomes going to the Texans too. Seahawks, Carlos Henderson, one of my favorite players in the draft. Just an all-around weapon, led the nation all-purpose yards. He's the receiver from Louisiana Tech. I can just see him on the Seahawks, not necessarily the biggest need, but I think it's more of a need than people think. I think he'd be a crazy weapon with Russell Wilson on the Seahawks. I think he could go higher than this once people realize how much of a weapon he is. I have the Chiefs taking Tack McKinley from UCLA, can play on the line, can play outside linebacker. He's known as a late first round guy, I think. Late first round guy. He needs surgery, so that late first round pushes him back into the second round. Also, he ran a good 40 at the Combine, but other than that, kind of showed stiffness, tightness. Laterally wasn't too quick, so I can think with that he can drop a little bit, add in that injury. I think he could possibly drop to here. Some experts still have him late first though, but Chiefs could use him as well. Cowboys upgrading that pass rush to Marcus Walker, another guy that I'm higher on. I don't think he goes in the first round from what I'm hearing, but I think it would be a fine pick at the end of the first round. He led in Power 5 sacks out of in this class, so great stat. And I mean, he gets after the quarterback. What else do you want? Packers need defense, and more defense. They go Tim Williams, who is an excellent player, another guy that's probably late first, but failed some drug tests in the past. So that's going to be a concern to some teams, like the Cowboys pick right before. I don't think they would be in the running for Tim Williams because of Randy Gregory. They don't want another one like that. But the difference is Randy Gregory failed a drug test right before at the Combine. Well, Tim Williams didn't fail one recently, so that's a positive thing, but it's still risky. Steelers could use another corner. Cordrea Tankersley from Clemson loved his 40 time, but didn't like his vertical. That doesn't take away from his tape. Good player. The Falcons get Jordan Lewis, who's an instant nickel corner from Michigan. Falcons could use another corner like that. And then Patriots. I have the Patriots taking Carl Lawson, edge rusher from Auburn, who I've heard some teams have late third round grades on, which is a little surprising, but I think he doesn't get out of the second round. I think it's possible, but I don't think he gets out of the second round. And there's a bunch of guys that I didn't have go that could be possible second rounders, but I got a few here. Jordan Willis, couldn't believe I couldn't squeeze him in there. Excellent Combine. Another guy that's up there for Power 5 sacks. He very well could go in the second round. Deontay Foreman, maybe the next best running back if you don't count Joe Mixon. Next best running back on the board. He very well could go in the second round. People concerned about maybe an injury and maybe speed. Didn't get to run in the Combine. Joe Mixon, first round talent, but I've heard 3 teams scratched him off their board. So I think other teams like, hey, we can wait for this guy, so he may fall. He could even go early or late first. So we'll see. It's a big mystery. 2 quarterbacks, Brad Kaye and Davis Webb. You know, quarterbacks are overdrafted. I think Brad Kaye would be okay in the second round. I'm higher on him than Davis Webb, but Davis Webb not a bad prospect. Chris Godwin was already probably an early third and then has a great Combine, can easily go in the second round. Dwayne Smoot, some people think he's a late first, but starting to sound like he may drop a little bit just because the other talent. So another guy. Marlon Mack, another running back that I really, really like. And there's a couple experts that say he can go second round, but most likely third. But I like Marlon Mack as a second round running back. I had him right before editing all this. I had him going to the Vikings actually all the way up there, but then Dan Feeney happened to slip through, so I don't think the Vikings can pass on Dan Feeney. I know the Broncos, another team that really like Marlon Mack, so that's a possibility. So we'll see. I really like Marlon Mack, one of my favorite players in the draft. Then Deion Dawkins, instant start at guard, probably right guard. But do you draft the right guard that high? I heard teams really liked him, interviewing him at the combine, so he could sneak in there as well. Really, it's a stacked draft class, and I love it. So that'll do it for the 2-round mock post combine. Please check out our other videos. More NFL coverage on the way. Do not worry. Please subscribe and follow us on Twitter, frogs_angels, always tweeting out NFL info. And that'll do it for this one. Goodbye.